This is your source for genre news, album reviews, and commentary on all things heavy. The Metal Pod. Here are your hosts, Brendan Flum and George Fong.
Hello and welcome back to the Metal Pod. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Trent Balley on the pod. Welcome, Trent.
Hey, thanks for having me. I have been pumped about this. As soon as Brendan walked in the door, I was like, let's go, let's get it. And I'm a fan of the show, long-time listener, first-time caller. So this is fun.
Hell yeah, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Thanks for being on. Today's topic will be hair bands, hair metal, hair rock, all things hair, hairspray. One of Trent's favorite genres, but I'll let him talk about that. And before we get into that, Trent, what shirt are you wearing today?
I'm wearing a Motley Crue shirt. It has the Dr. Feelgood logo on it. I got it at Meijer, pretty cheap. Because if you know me, you know I spend money on expensive things for no reason, so I have to compensate elsewhere. And this is just kind of how I do that. I don't know. Fun shirt. You guys told me about the shirt stories thing. I was like, well, I got one option here, so we're rolling with it.
Meijer is metal, so that's fair.
Yeah.
So is Walmart. Walmart is very metal as well.
But it sounds better saying...
What's more metal?
Meijer metal.
Meijer? Because it's got a better ring to it, or is it actually more metal? What's more metal?
Meijer metal. You got that metal shirt at Meijer, so therefore Meijer.
Okay. Walmart is definitely more... You're more likely to get shot in a Walmart than a Meijer. So I think, therefore, true. Walmart is more aggressive. Okay, Brendan, what shirt do you have on?
I am wearing my Van Halen shirt, of course, in honor of Eddie Van Halen, who passed away this year. Yep. Unfortunately, never got the chance to see him live, which sucks. And the only Van Halen shirt I had is way too small for me now, so I bought this XXL one when he died.
I told you, I want to see you wear those shirts. Those childhood shirts. I want to see you wear those on the pod.
Skin tight?
Oh, they are tight as hell. Like,
well, you don't want to rip them because
absolutely.
They're like
I would
prized possessions, you know.
Exactly. They're just sitting in my basement, just like
make
as
a
memories.
quilt. You got to make a quilt.
We're gonna have this on the show one day.
All right.
In case you guys haven't noticed already, we are not filming this episode of the pod because of the lockdown, which is in place during the recording. So we are doing it remotely.
For the time being.
For the time being. We're still going to do some graphics for the YouTube version, but for now, it is a pure podcast.
Hell yeah.
And the shirt I'm wearing is a Jackal shirt.
Yes.
On the back, it says, what did it say?
Rock and roll.
Rock me,
roll
me, and jackal me off. And I did not pay for this shirt. I shot a music video for a friend in Grand Rapids at a thrift shop. And the thrift shop owner opened it on a Sunday when the shop was closed. And she said, hey, each of you guys can pick a free item and take it with you, which was so nice, right? Because she already let us in on our day off.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was at the end of the shoot and we had to move to the next location. So I was like, I got to pick something fast. I looked in the shirts. I picked the first cool shirt I saw. I was like, oh, Jackal. There's like anthropomorphic animals with like dog faces and like
that's
stuff
the band, bro.
Yeah, no, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll pick this one. And then come to find out that they are actually a hair band, and Brendan put them on the playlist for this week, and it's pretty sweet.
Wait, you're pulling it off, by the way. I have to say that because people can't see. They don't have the luxury of seeing this shirt on George. It's like when you buy something, but you don't. You buy shoes online, you don't try them on. It's kind of like that. You gotta see it. It looks fantastic.
It's a size small. I am a size medium, so I'm like, it's very tight on me.
So one question: did you buy that before, like we talked about this hair metal episode, or?
I did not buy it. I selected this Jackal shirt.
Did you get it before this episode?
Yes, about 2 months.
2 months ago.
So you could say that this shirt precipitated this episode.
That is a coincidence and a half right there.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
I was like, oh, like, what's Jackal? Like, I'll listen to them before. I'll listen to them because I have their shirt now, and I never did. And then I saw them pop up on the playlist, and I was like, holy shit, like.
Let it be said, the Lumberjack is like the best hair song of all time. I'll just say that right now. But anyways.
Ooh. All things are meant to be. I guess that's my 2 cents in this whole situation. Also, that's a great story. The whole thrift shop story. That's like it's just cool. It's like a vintage story.
That's awesome.
That's something that would happen in the 1960s. That's just cool.
Yeah. Metal permeates everything, guys. Metal is everywhere.
Yes, sir.
And it will always find you. Metal news. Brendan, our metal journalist. What do you got for us?
Guess the big thing since last time we saw each other, the Grammys announced their 2021 nominees. So the metal category, best metal performance, the nominees are Bum Rush by Body Count off of Carnivore, their new album. Underneath by Code Orange, the title track from their new album. The In Between by In This Moment.
One of the greatest metal bands.
Not a fan.
Fronted by...
You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I would love to, because George has heard me give this spiel many times.
Oh, okay.
All right. I saw In This Moment for the first time open for Korn and Rob Zombie.
They were good, weren't they?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time I saw them. I was like, oh, this is new. Female singer.
Maria Brink.
She's great.
Fantastic.
Great. Every time I've seen them live since, she sucks.
Chicago Open Air?
I didn't see that one.
That was the second day, right? When you weren't there?
Right. Correct.
She was good there.
Okay. I mean...
So they set the bar high for you, and then from there it was just kind of disappointment?
Right.
I
like listening to them. It's just, after seeing her live, it's like...
You wish you could have the first show kind of live in the memory forever and not ever had the fuck-ups later.
She's got, like, the big podium and stuff. She's got the dancers.
She doesn't move on stage.
She goes
just
up the
stands
podium.
there.
She goes to the podium, like, the big one, and she stands up there, and she's, like, doing her thing.
And she goes like this, waving her hands, like, cheer for me. I hate that shit. Like, just...
Make it happen.
Yeah, man, just make it happen.
Have you heard her cover of In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins?
Yes.
That shit gets me up in the morning, bro.
Listen, I would love to hear that, because honestly, I don't know if I've ever talked to George about this. I think that song by Phil Collins is wildly overrated. I don't think it's really that good.
Trent.
I think that his version's overrated. The In This Moment version is
that's why I say
really
I say I want to hear it, because the song itself gets so much like luster, and I don't really get it. I'm like, I could fall asleep to this. And
yeah.
Maybe that's some people are into that kind of shit, but I want to hear the In This Moment version.
That is
I'm
fair.
intrigued.
I will say they In This Moment also covered. They didn't cover. They like remixed White Wedding by Billy Idol.
Okay.
They called it Black Wedding and featured Rob Halford from Judas Priest, and that is by far my favorite song by them.
Really?
Instead of It's a Nice Day for a White Wedding, they change it to It's a Nice Night for a Black Wedding. It's pretty metal. Like I got to admit, but yeah. To round out the Grammy category though, Blood Money by Poppy.
Is Poppy metal?
I mean she's making that transition from pop into metal, and she's doing it pretty well, I guess. I mean, people are starting to recognize her in the community, and that was the last concert I saw before COVID, and it was pretty metal. So I mean,
has anybody done that before? Made the transition from pop to metal? You guys might have to enlighten me here.
She's definitely the best example of like a full blown pop star.
Okay.
My next piece of metal news, actually, I guess I'll bring it up now. Miley Cyrus, I guess, is not really, but like she's kind of getting more into rock now.
Did you miss Power Trip on the Grammy nominations?
I did. I was going to come back to it. Gotcha. Power Trip, a live version of Executioner's Tax, Swing of the X.
Nice.
So yeah, just in honor of Riley again, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Miley's new album Plastic Hearts came out over this past weekend. I listened to it because, I heard it was
that the covers album?
No, that's going to be her next one, I think.
This is just her.
This is just her
next project?
Trying to get into rock.
Okay, how was it?
It was solid. Pretty much exactly what I expected. Still pretty poppy. But like Billy Idol was featured on there, Joan Jett, Stevie Nicks.
So she's starting to lean toward that end of the spectrum.
Right. And
she's working on it.
If you hadn't heard, she said her next project is going to be a Metallica covers album.
All Metallica songs?
Right.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Wow. I'll buy that.
Yeah, we'll probably listen to that.
I'll listen to it for sure.
How do you feel about these? Because metal in the Grammys is new, right? Relatively.
No, it's not new. I mean, the first time they ever did a metal category, it was that famous blunder of when they gave it to Jethro Tull over Metallica when And Justice for All came out. And then it was disrespect right off the bat, obviously, and it's always been shit since then.
Basically, the Grammys are very bad at scoring metal.
Yeah.
Gauging metal.
They don't air any metal awards or performances. I mean,
they never.
It's a pop and rap era, you know. I mean,
so how do you feel about these Grammy nominees? I mean
they've been known to do this. They'll pick a live song, a live version of an old song. Like Executioner's Tax is 3 years old now, and it's just getting nominated as a live version. So I mean, they've done that before.
Yeah, kind of gimmicky.
Yeah, very gimmicky. I mean, Poppy makes sense because it's pop meets metal, essentially.
Right.
In this moment, it's a more popular band. Body Count
is in the media a lot. Code Orange has been in the
Ice-T's
media a lot.
Super. Code Orange makes the most sense to me, and I think they should get it.
Code Orange? Really?
They'll probably give it to Poppy for already discussed reasons, but yeah, I think it's Code Orange's.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. So yeah, I mean, fuck the Grammys. I've said that before. I'll say it forever. So I mean,
not a good way to measure artist success, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely not.
It's a popularity contest.
It definitely is,
and we know the results of those. What else you got?
Yeah, last one, my favorite one. Pantera finally is coming out with their own alcohol. It's been a long time coming because Pantera is the drinking band.
Their logo is Jack Daniels, pretty much. A play on the Jack Daniels logo.
And it's a wild turkey thing also. So they love their whiskey, obviously, but this is actually going to be a beer called Pantera Golden Ale, 5.4 ABV.
On the high side for beer.
I think isn't Miller Lite like 4.5?
Yeah, five is pretty standard.
I guess it is. It's a little more. It's a little higher.
A little higher.
Yeah, but it's Pantera, so of course it's going to be a little higher.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll get you spinning a little more.
So
also it's gold. So that's great.
Exactly.
It's an ale.
It is. It's a golden ale, so it's going to be easy to drink, and it's 5% alcohol, so you can just slam them.
Dangerous.
You can slam them and
that's exactly
pack them away.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted. Because I mean, Metallica's already got the whiskey, Slipknot's already got the whiskey, Judas Priest they've got the rum. Korn has the coffee. They're not doing
really?
alcohol
They have
stuff.
coffee? I should get some of that.
I mean, they're all sober now, so.
Imagine waking up in the morning and Sick by Slipknot just kicks you in the ass, and then you just get some Slipknot coffee, and you're like ready to go.
That's a good way to wake up. It's corn coffee. Did I say Slipknot?
No, you said Korn.
Okay.
Did you say
because I was thinking in my head, I was like, Korn should like sponsor popcorn or some shit. Like that'd be awesome. Like, oh my god, you would get it. George would buy it out.
Corn coffee.
Yeah.
Imagine you wake up in the morning and you hear Twist by Korn, and then you just get a cup of coffee and you just start your day like that. Like,
either way, it's a great way to wake up. That is coming in March of 2021, and that can't come soon enough. So,
Trent, how did you get into metal?
You know, this is fun. I have to say, first I have to give a disclaimer. I'm not really into the full on like metal scene, right? Like I'm nothing like you guys. You guys are like crazy as fuck. I live with George. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
George and I grew up together. We live together now in college. So here's the deal. Like I enjoy listening to that with George sometimes. Like it's just it's a thing. It matches the scene. We roll with it, right? But in terms of like the hair metal, which is what we're talking about today, why you guys have me on, of course. I mean, that was like that was kind of a process, honestly, because when I was little, like before I could walk, I'm talking like 2 years old, I was like, my dad used to bring me down to our basement and set me down so he could work out and watch me, and I wouldn't like crawl off or anything. And the first song I ever remember listening to is Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. And that's obviously not metal, but that kind of got me into the Queen and the Van Halen stuff of like the late 70s, early 80s. And then from there, it just took off because I just loved the classic rock, more specifically the hair stuff, just like obnoxious. And then, I mean, the rest is history pretty much. I mean, because... Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about Motley Crue, I assume. That is...
Oh, yeah.
I've already mentioned I'm wearing the shirt. That is my favorite band ever. It's really not close. I mean, if it is close, Van Halen's a close second, I guess I could say. But it's not close. So I guess that's how I really got into it. It was kind of a chain of events. You know, and I got to credit my dad for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's a lot of the way a lot of people get into it. Like Brendan said, he got started on Kiss.
Yeah, what you just said sounded just like mine.
You just want to get heavier and heavier and heavier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So very similar there.
Yep.
Absolutely. The difference for me is I eventually hit the brakes and you guys just kept flooring it. So I guess that's the difference.
Yeah, right. Like Trent said, we're roommates, and we grew up together. And I can attest to the fact that every morning Trent will hear some variation of either Meshuggah, Slipknot, or what's another morning band that I listen to often. Yeah, pretty much those two. So the Pantera or Lamb of God, pretty much in the morning.
Yeah.
So I feel like and Trent also likes Rob Zombie a lot. I put some Rob Zombie in, and he likes Rob Zombie.
Yes,
Good.
I'm not too familiar. To be completely honest, I don't know a ton about Rob Zombie. It's kind of a joke between me and my guy George here. It's like I'll just like do my Rob Zombie impression when we're driving or something.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things,
Right,
It's just dumb shit. But
Or
it's fun.
one of my favorites is the Pantera impression. Trent does a great Phil Anselmo.
Oh, yeah?
He'll just rip a Phil Anselmo sometimes.
I think I got to hear that real
You
quick.
just gotta scream. I don't really know. I haven't heard the song in a while, but like when we're on a road trip, right, and George will just start playing a song, and it just comes in with this screaming, like no intro. Yeah. It's just like straight up just yelling into the microphone. So then I'll wait like 2 or 3 seconds, and I'll just do it, and then George just starts laughing.
He does it great. We're not gonna put you in the spot though.
That'd be terrible audio quality.
Yeah, no, it would clip this.
I was totally kidding.
Probably break all this shit, honestly.
It's great. Oh, he does a Lane Staley too.
Oh yeah.
Alice in Chains.
Oh yes, the rooster.
The rooster.
Yes, that's specifically the rooster.
It's just one-off songs that Trent likes that I play that he'll be like, I like this one.
Right, so that's why I gotta mention, like, I live with George, right? So like I obviously am a little bit like I dip my toes in the metal culture every now and then because I live with this guy. Like, how can you not? It's fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is. We'll move into our second question. Is what do you like about metal and rock and that type of sound?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the hair metal thing for me, it's like it's just elite party music. As I've gotten older, now I will say this: I will not incriminate myself here. I didn't drink in high school. When I got to college, things changed a little bit. Everyone knows. I'm gonna leave it at that. Fill in the blanks. I'll say this though: I love listening to like Motley Crue when I'm like drinking Jack Daniels.
It's party music,
and it is just, dude. There is nothing better than that. I'll tell you, like, it's just fun because you're picturing these guys. They're fucked up as they're singing this in the studio, right? Like as they're recording this, they're not sober. So it's just fun to immerse yourself in that.
Oh yeah,
in that culture. So that's what I really love about hair metal specifically. But I mean, another guy that I always grew up listening to, another band I should say, is Ozzy Osbourne.
Of course.
And that's just some of the heaviest stuff that I was raised on that my dad just loves. I can't tell you how many times my dad's seen Ozzy Osbourne. So it's just one of those things that I've always loved those two bands specifically. And then, I mean, from a music standpoint, like the guitar riffs are always on point. Like I play bass guitar, so I love all the bass and the drums, even like just the driving force that rock has, and specifically like some of the heavier stuff that you guys are into. I love that stuff.
Yeah, and we love the bass, obviously.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. Can't get enough of that.
It's loud.
Yes.
It definitely is party music. Like I understand what you said about the Jack Daniels. It's like you're honoring. You feel like you're honoring these bands when you're
right.
You're listening to them and you're having a party, having a great time, and you're drinking with your friends or whatever, and it's like you're thinking about them when you're doing it because you know that they went through the same motions.
Exactly, and they'd be proud of you. Whether or not they are, sober now or alive now. Right. I mean, shit, some of these guys are dead.
Exactly. Like I have a drink with, like when I listen to Pantera and drink, it's like I'm having a drink with Dimebag.
Exactly.
That's why I do that. So.
To honor that, which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy for us to sit here and say I get fucked up to honor Nikki Sixx, but I do. It's so fun.
He's the man.
Or when you're smoking something. You're thinking about Phil Anselmo saying he's selling weed in your pristine streets. It's like Pantera is kind of a stoner band a little bit.
Your trust is in whiskey and weed.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. So if you're smoking whatever, you feel like you're honoring them. And
exactly.
You're having a smoke with them too, or a drink with them.
Yeah, that's what it's all about right there.
Yep. All right. I guess we'll move into our next one, which is who are your favorite metal artists or nearly metal artists? It's a fluid genre.
Yeah. I guess I would have to. I mean, again, Motley Crue, my favorite band ever. Period. I mean, it's rivaling Jay-Z as my favorite artist. Period. Like I am obsessed with Motley Crue, anything and everything.
And they got in that position fast for you.
They did. This was a new thing. George and I were just talking about this. It kind of happened over quarantine, I would say, which, for the people listening to this now in December, this was, I mean, probably back, when the first lockdown happened in March, I just got really into Motley Crue. I had seen The Dirt, the movie, about a year ago, right? Like after my second year of college. Yep. And then I just kind of got I came back to it for whatever reason, and then I needed a hobby in quarantine, so I picked up a bass guitar, and I just started learning that, and then I was like, wow, this like Nicky Six guy is crazy, he's really cool. And yeah, I mean, George is right. I mean, they just shot up the list. Like I've got some like iconic artists in my top, you know, I love Prince, I love Cher, you know, Motley Crue just like did backflips on their way up the list. It was crazy. So I have to say them. And then also, I mean, I already mentioned Ozzy, but he's another top 10 artist for me all time.
For sure.
And again, my dad introduced me to him years and years ago. There's nothing you love better, like when you're a kid, when you're probably like 6, 7 years old, and you just listen to the music your dad listens to. That is so cool.
It is.
So I would say those two for sure. I dabble in Kiss a little bit. Because who doesn't? I mean, they kind of pioneered. They paved the way. They walked so all these guys could run.
Corpse paint.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that?
The face paint.
The makeup.
The makeup,
okay. Duh. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, obviously all the classics like Def Leppard, Poison, I listened to all that kind of stuff. Van Halen, love them. I'm not sure if they qualify as hair metal, whatever.
Definitely metal.
They were definitely hard for their time. You think about like 1978, their debut album. Like this was a conversation George and I actually had. We were driving to our buddy's house, and I was listening to Ain't Talking About Love by Van Halen, and George goes, was this heavy back then? And I'm thinking probably. I mean, like 1978,
sure.
ahead of their time. Like that's probably the heaviest shit there was.
Yeah.
So people went crazy for that. But I guess that's kind of my piece on like who my favorite metal artists are. I guess.
Awesome. Yeah. No, it's like I was thinking about this the other day, and it's like if there's one thing that can unify metal bands, it's like guitar worship.
Yep.
Like electric guitar.
It's all driven by guitar, dude. Like if you're not driving it with the guitar, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Right? That's why
That's the rock and roll instrument right there.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. That's a great way to put it, Brendan.
Yeah.
Like it is a rock and roll instrument. But yeah, so we'll move on to the next question, which is, what are your favorite metal subgenres or subgenre?
See, so for me, I this is boring. It's getting repetitive. It's hair metal. Has to be 1000%, dude. I love getting fucked up listening to hair metal. It's a hobby of mine now. If anyone knew me before quarantine and knew me after quarantine,
he's a different man.
I'm a completely different person.
Guy.
You might not like me anymore. That's the thing I do. I mean, I'm not saying I'm getting sloshed and like whatever. I don't want to. Again, I don't want to incriminate myself here, put myself in a slammer. I'm just saying, I go to my room or I'm out here at the the dining room table and I'm just kind of enjoying a little whiskey or something, and I got something on the TV, maybe a football game, and I'm listening to Motley Crue, Ozzy Osbourne, Van Halen, Poison, Rat, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
It's so much fun. So that's got to be hair metal has to be my favorite subgenre. I don't even know if I have a second one.
I'm so happy that you said that because, before with you, it would have been, you're putting on Jay-Z, or you're putting on Nas, and you're chillaxing.
And I still do that.
And you still do that, and you have football on TV. But when you put on that electrified, heavy stuff with fast drums, it's a different type.
It's different.
Yeah.
Feeling.
At like 2 p.m. and just like,
it's like
for no reason, you just
adrenaline.
You just do
it's
it.
It's
just
pure adrenaline in your bones, like. And not to knock on rap, obviously I love hip-hop
Jay-Z
and rap
and Nas
too.
as well. Yeah.
Exactly, but it's a totally different type of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's Jay-Z is probably my favorite artist ever, right? But it's happened so fast. It's been such a whirlwind with this Motley Crue shit. It's like, dude, it's a question now. And if you asked me that in high school, I would have probably punched you in the face. Like, it would never be. I'd be like, Motley Crue, like. The band that sings "Kickstart My Heart," like those motherfuckers. No. It's completely changed. 180.
Yep.
So for sure, you're exactly right.
Glad to hear it. Join the dark side.
Yes, sir.
We have cookies.
Yeah,
all right.
Welcome.
I suppose the last topical quote unquote segment or question is, what's the best concert you've ever seen?
Dude, another boring answer for me because I've been to 2 concerts in my entire life. Yeah. So that's kind of
you were at a college radio station. You've been to 2 concerts.
Exactly. It's a shameful thing for me to say here. I will say this: I have tickets to see Motley Crue, Def Leppard. Yes, I don't have tickets, but I fully plan on going at least once, maybe twice. I'm definitely hitting Detroit. We got a buddy in Cleveland, so
we got plans.
We got plans. We definitely got plans. The Cleveland show is actually significantly cheaper because the Detroit one is at a baseball park instead of a big arena. Right. So we'll see what happens on that front. Hopefully, we're still able to figure all that out. But I guess the best concert I've been to is Jay-Z and Beyonce in Detroit, 2018.
Not a bad choice. It was not a bad one to pick.
That was my first one. I saw Nas the summer after that. But I mean, so that was the best concert, but that's not metal related. So I want to hear from you guys actually on this one. Like, what's the best concert you've ever been to?
Download.
9 Inch Nails.
9 Inch Nails over Download?
Not Manson for
Manson's
you?
old.
Okay. All right.
Download doesn't count as a concert though, because that's like which concert in the Download catalog?
Slipknot.
9 Inch Nails.
At the Fox in Detroit.
Yes.
That was a fire show.
That was an awesome show.
But
Slipknot also killed it at Download. But
wait, you guys have been to multiple of the same concert, right?
Many.
Before you knew each other?
A lot.
Many.
Even before we knew each other.
Even before we knew
That's
each other.
crazy.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that wild?
That is wild, dude.
It's because metalheads are all connected.
Exactly.
And all things are meant to be. Bring it back to that. We said that about the fucking shirt in the thrift store, so we're going to bring it back.
Anyways, Brendan is a bigger Slipknot fan, and I am a bigger 9 Inch Nails fan, so it makes sense. My favorite concert was the 9 Inch Nails show. I had seating. It wasn't even pit. I had a stand in place.
Yeah.
And
I was in the nosebleeds, and it was still fucking awesome.
I thought you said Download.
No, I'm talking for your 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, yeah. And Brendan was at the same concert.
Okay.
That's right, yeah. And I just knew every single word to every single song, and he played all the throwbacks, and he played the new stuff, and it was just the visuals were obviously like amazing. And
so you went to the first night out of 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So night, that was the throwback.
And what was the opener? Jesus and the Mary Chain.
Yep, that was it.
That's a good name for a band. Wow. Say that again.
Jesus and the Mary Chain. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. They were okay.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
But I just am a huge 9 Inch Nails fan.
Of course.
I'm going to have you introduce me to some of that shit because the guy's name is Trent Reznor. Trent.
Exactly.
If my last name wasn't Balley, I'd want it to be Reznor. Like, what a great last name.
Trent Reznor is a fantastic
Is that his
name.
real last name?
Yeah, Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he has like 3 kids. One of them is like Baltazar.
Yeah.
One of them's named
Like
Reznor.
Shadow or something.
Shadow.
Reznor.
Something like that.
And like another one, Lazarus Reznor.
Yeah.
I've met one shadow in my life, and it was a cat. So that's crazy. That's a crazy name to name your child.
Yeah.
But I love it. I
Don't
talked to
quote
George
me on
about
that.
this. I'm
That's
I'm
just-
going to name my kid Prince.
I mean,
It'll just be fun.
Anton
Prince
LaVey's
Balley.
kid's
Wait,
name
Prince.
is Satan. His first
my
name
God.
is Satan.
That's kind of setting your kid up for some fucked up.
Yeah, he's gonna get
I'm not
bullied.
gonna have any friends.
No. I mean, and he doesn't want friends though. If your
I'm
name's
friends with
Satan.
Satan.
Yeah, basically.
My
Satan
good
took
friend
my lunch
Satan.
money.
Anyways, to bring it back, what's the best concert that you've been to, Brendan?
I mean, there's a lot obviously that I could choose from, but I think Slipknot at Download just takes the cake because it's.
Not a Korn show, because you love Korn.
I know Korn is the more consistent. They're more consistent than Slipknot, and if I had to choose one band to see for the rest of my life, it would be Korn. But I'm saying one single concert. Metal in Europe is different because they take it more seriously.
Yeah,
I feel
for
like
sure. No, for sure.
It was.
They
dude,
invented it.
You're standing surrounded by 100,000 people, seeing the biggest metal band in the world, like on their comeback from 5 years ago or whatever, just absolutely kill it. And it was just, we've had this Rail debate. I had Rail, and I was just going crazy the whole time because I had Rail.
Did you
Of course.
enjoy it more than when you saw them when you came back home at
Yeah,
DTE?
1,000%.
1,000%.
Download probably ruined Slipknot for me from now
Because
on.
they had him on the big screen, and
Yeah.
like it was just a sea of people. Like,
Yep. The acoustics
as
were perfect.
far as you could see, it was just
Yeah.
people in England. Just
Exactly.
it was great. It was a great time.
Yeah.
That concert was that was awesome.
But plus, it was part of Download, which was like the best metal weekend of my whole life.
Yeah,
obviously.
which is one of the best metal festivals ever. And we were studying abroad in London, which is in
it all added up so perfectly.
Yeah,
that-
one of the best times of our lives.
yeah, without a doubt.
All right, should we move into the segments?
Yeah, I actually have one more question for Trent though.
Oh, go
Before
ahead.
we
Hot seat.
Yep.
Let it rip.
Pantera or Lamb of God?
You know what? I was gonna mention this earlier because I was in on some of this feud a little bit.
Yeah.
I am probably the least qualified person that could answer this question. I'll say that. But
I have to ask everybody. So.
I think on the poll that you guys did, I voted for Lamb of God. So I have to stick
the
by
poll that was conducted by him on
That
his
is
social
true.
media.
It was unbiased.
not mine.
Stop the count! It was listen. The poll was all perpetrated. That's a word. Perpetrated by George and everything. So disclaimer. Also disclaimer. I've probably heard. Hey. I could probably count on one hand the amount of Lamb of God and Pantera songs combined that I've heard, which is a damn shame.
To a lot of them. I expose him to a lot. Honestly.
He does. And also Alice in Chains. I'll say that. I hear a lot of that.
The Rooster.
His favorite Alice in Chains song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It is a great song.
Okay, so I guess that's my answer.
That poll was unbiased.
You texted me that Pantera was better. You literally texted me that.
No.
Remember?
What is this?
I'll pull it up again.
We're digging up the old stuff.
Yeah. I put Pantera's song first, and I put them first on the polling list, and Lamb of God still won out. I texted Brendan and said, we don't have to address this at all. We already addressed this. You're gonna bring this up 2 episodes in a row, really?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Let it go.
I'm asking every future guest from here on out.
Get it off your chest.
Oh, dude, it's off my chest.
He just told you who he thought. He just told you.
I'm trying to pound you into the
Brendan's
ground.
Gonna keep
even
asking
more.
This question until he gets the answer he wants.
It's domination, bro.
I guess
domination isn't even their best song, bro.
It's the best breakdown of all time, though. So I mean, it's one of their best songs.
Weak.
I'm listening to it right after the show. And I'll talk to you guys.
Here, Trent, watch the video of Pantera play Domination in newly freed USSR, Moscow, Russia, right after the Berlin Wall.
I was gonna say this must 89. What year was that?
1990, exactly.
90, perfect. Okay.
Literally playing to 1 million Russians, just losing their shit to the best breakdown ever written.
Russians, who all they do is okay. Never mind. I don't want to generalize for Russians, but that's. Shout out Russia, by the way.
Absolutely,
wouldn't be a metal pod if we didn't shout out Russia. That's
true.
Right?
Thank
you,
Russia.
They gave Pantera their best crowd ever.
I just started listening to a new Russian band, actually. They're like a new wave band.
New wave?
New wave, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They're cool.
What are they called?
Are you going to tell us the name, or are you just going to describe them to us?
I got it. They are called, hold on, pulling it up.
99 Love Balloons.
Molchat Doma.
What does that mean?
Doma.
It means
does that mean something?
A silent house.
Oh.
All their songs are in Cyrillic.
Well, that's
though.
ironic.
So all the song names you can't we wouldn't be able to understand what they say, but
yeah,
they're
the
like
music itself.
They're eerie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of off topic, but all right, we'll get into these segments.
Yes, sir.
Which is the first one, top 5.
Everyone knows what number 1 is if you've listened to anything so far. Motley Crue, and it's like, what are there, like fucking like 7 layers of the atmosphere? Motley Crue's like way at the top, and then drop about 4 levels, and then we're gonna get to number 2, which is Bon Jovi. For me.
Okay.
Because that is another band. Look, you know what? I'm gonna back up for a second here.
I didn't see that coming.
When I was doing research for this, because yes, I do prep. I'm subtweeting someone in particular. They're probably never gonna hear this, but I prep for this kind of shit. I looked at Ozzy doesn't really qualify as hair metal, and I can see why, because he's not about the spectacle, he's about the music, and a lot of those guys are, which is great. Yeah. Not saying that hair bands are about the spectacle, but he
made like a hair album kind of.
Yeah, I guess I would say, but it's also so another Van Halen. I've already talked about them. That's a top 3 artist for me ever. So it's kind of like. It just depends what they qualify as. I took both those guys out. So Motley Crue number 1, Bon Jovi number 2, because Slippery When Wet is, that could be the best hair metal album ever. Like I looked at some rankings just because I wanted like a gauge on what other people think. Right. Granted, I don't really care. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I don't care what anyone thinks. So I'm just like, so
go Lions.
Of course, One Pride. Wanted Dead or Alive is I know that's one of the hits, but that song is one of the few songs that I can remember in my childhood when you had like MP3 players. Like before everyone had iPods, you had an MP3 player, and I had to say like, Dad, I want this song on my MP3 player. Yep. And you put it on there. And that was one of the few songs that I ever remember like listening to over and over and over and over again. And like I just fell in love with it. And Bon Jovi's so cool. And he's like had a career now for what, like 40 years. Like I just respect the hell out of him and that band. Number 3, dude, I'm gonna say Def Leppard. Okay. And here's why. I'm not that much into their music. It's more of I just respect them. The drummer has one arm, for crying out loud. Yeah. And granted that happened halfway through their tenure, but they've got several hits. Like everyone knows at least one Def Leppard song. Also, that might be the best name for a metal band, or like a hair metal band ever.
It's pretty solid.
How did you come
Motley
up with
Cruise.
that too? I love Motley Crue. I'm biased. I think
Poison.
Motley Crue's the best.
All these names are just awesome.
Yeah. So Well, so going off of that, George, Poison is number 4 for me.
Very nice.
And the reason for that is their first 2 albums, Look What the Cat Dragged In and Open Up and Say Ah.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic projects. I love them.
First one's heavy as hell.
I'm a huge Bret Michaels guy.
Yeah,
I know, like, we're not doing the videos, people can't see. I'm wearing a bandana, and I'm literally doing that because I think Bret Michaels looks cool with a bandana. So that's that.
He's dope.
And then I guess for my 5th spot, I mean, there's obviously a few names I haven't mentioned yet. Guns N' Roses, more on them later. They will not touch my list. I'm gonna say Kiss, just because Kiss, like I said earlier, they kind of walk so some of these guys could run. Plus, no one did the makeup or the spectacle better than Kiss.
Correct.
So you have to tip your hat. Also, Lick It Up by Kiss. I mean, we'll get to the pick of the week later. You know, you guys told me to pick something. That was something, or the song rack, that was something that I really thought about, didn't end up going with. I love that song.
It's a great song.
That song is fantastic. That song alone gets them a spot in my top 5. So I'll put them I'll put them 5th. Honorable mention is Rat. I love some Rat, but I just don't. I it's kind of like a one good album thing with them.
Correct.
So I couldn't really take it to the next step. But that's my top 5: Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Poison, and Kiss.
All right, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah,
I want to talk about a lot of the stuff you just said. So I guess to start with the 5th spot, you had Kiss. And you brought up like Van Halen, Ozzy. Kiss is kind of in that same realm as Van Halen and Ozzy to me. Yeah,
early 80s.
They were like a glam 70s band.
Pretty much.
Who, like Alice Cooper being another one, of course, who like kind of took advantage of the hair boom in the 80s and then made some more poppy stuff. But they like totally qualify and they fit the bill.
Well, that's the thing, because like I said, when I was researching this kind of stuff and I wanted to just know kind of like what in general, like what qualifies as hair metal, like Kiss wasn't really on any of those lists, but like I don't know how you can look at those guys and say like that's not a hair metal, but to some extent, you know what I mean?
And they
like,
kickstarted that whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Another kind of band, Def Leppard, definitely a hair band.
Yeah.
The weird thing about them, though, they were part of like the new wave of British heavy metal.
Yes.
If you're familiar with that, they're like
a little bit
Motorhead, Iron Maiden, super heavy kind of bands like that.
Judas.
And then, Priest was like the forebears of that, obviously. And then they transitioned into a hair band, which is totally weird.
They adapted to the American culture and what was selling at the time. So you gotta you gotta respect. That's why I said like my reasoning for them was literally just respect. Like,
absolutely,
they have so many hits and.
The drummer.
How do you? Oh, the drummer alone. I love him. I don't even know his name. I should know.
Rick
his name.
Allen.
Rick Allen.
And he's one of my favorites as well because you go from Pyromania, which is obviously a huge album, and then that car. Was it a car accident?
It was a car accident.
He lost his arm
out of the car into like a cornfield or something, and his arm was amputated. They originally like fixed it. They put the arm back on, but then it wasn't getting circulation or something crazy happened.
It had an infection.
Yeah, an infection. They had to
take it
amputate it. So like, what a whirlwind, man! Like if you're him or his family, and it's like, oh, we're gonna be able to save the arm. Actually, we're not. And this is a world famous drummer.
Yep.
You need both hands. It's not the singer. A guitar, that'd be a disaster. You can't play again. I mean, you'd have to have some kind of machine made for you. But credit to Rick. Like he completely changed the game for himself there, and that speaks volumes about like his coordination and his dedication. He had like a drum kit designed so that he could use his feet more.
It's an electronic drum set, and
blows my mind, dude.
That's part of my trivia question too. And when he got in that accident, a lady found him, and
I read about this.
Yeah. He asked her, "Do you know who I am?" And she said no, and then she like called like.
She had no idea who he was. She just helped him. Which is,
it's just kind of crazy that he was like, he had like no arm, and then he was like, "Hey, do you know who I am?" And then she like helped him get him and his arm, and like his girlfriend, because his girlfriend was in the car also. He wasn't by himself. His girlfriend suffered some neck and spine injuries also. Yeah.
I think they put the arm in a cooler.
Yes.
This kind of shit. This is like stuff from like The Walking Dead. Like they put his arm in a cooler, took it to the hospital, put it back on.
Yeah, and she found him and his arm and was like, "Hey, it's just like it's a wild story, like,
gruesome,
really." Gruesome.
And that whirlwind that you're talking about, like, of course, that's a pretty gruesome story that created some hysteria, which is why they named it that. Exactly. And of course,
which is what we love about music, right?
Yeah.
When the lyrics have meaning, it's not just people writing random stuff.
And that album is full-blown hair metal compared to Pyromania is my favorite Def Leppard album because it's the perfect mix of pop and metal.
It's in between.
Hysteria is just a pop album disguises metal in a way.
Yeah.
And the way, like, they had to do that because with one arm, they had to play not simpler songs, but more poppy songs.
Can't be as drums driven.
But he's still so powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the man. So I just wanted to say that. So, yeah.
Appreciate your comments, Brendan.
And then, Bon Jovi is the man.
Yeah, I guess that was a little bit of a shocker because I don't really talk about him ever. But
that surprised me when you said that.
I do love like their music. I do.
Yeah.
Like I've got songs in my library from their debut album all the way up to their album from 2000. Name is escaping me, but like that. It's
Have a Nice Day. That one.
Yes, and it's all like it spans decades. And anytime a band does that for you, it's like you just are gonna. They deserve a spot in your top 5. Yeah. So that's what it is. And you know.
Absolutely. George, you want to do your top 5?
Yeah, I'll do mine.
All
right. In terms of topics for this week, I'm obviously I don't know as much as these guys about hair, bands, and that type of stuff. So take my list with a grain of salt. My number 1 is Motley Crue because
let's go. I was nervous. I didn't know. I thought you guys are about to throw hands over Lamb of God and Pantera. I was like, if George, because I listen to George's stuff in his room, and George hears me probably every time I take a shower. It's some random ass song off Girls, Girls, Girls. So,
oh my God.
Anyway, sorry, not to cut you off. Keep rolling. Number 1, Motley Crue.
I do hear Motley Crue all the time from Trent.
Watching that music video in the shower, bro.
Come on now.
Never have.
All right, just keep going.
Second on the list, I got Alice Cooper. Obviously, come on, shock rock. Alice Cooper is just dope. He's from Detroit.
He's the king of shock rock.
Yeah, he's dope. 3, Jackal.
Yes, sir.
If the reasons are shallow, it's just because I have their shirt and I got it for free. Thanks, Jackal.
And the Lumberjack is the best hair metal song ever written. I will stand by that till the day I die. Who else plays a chainsaw in a song? Jackal.
There we go. Me and Brendan agree on something for once.
Pretty innovative right there.
It is.
4 on the list, I've got Rat, purely because I like their name and they sound cool. Rat with 2 T's.
Have you heard Round and Round? That's their biggest hit.
Probably.
Oh,
it was on the playlist.
It's a great song.
Yeah, I heard it then.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Number 5, I almost put Europe, but I went with Poison because they're in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Let's go!
You made the right choice.
Poison!
Did I make the right choice?
Yeah, no, Europe, in my mind, is more of a one-hit wonder. But that's no Europe slander. It's just like...
The Final Countdown is also one of the best songs ever. I will still say that
with a great
as well.
intro, and it's synthy. Yeah. It's got every like element that you would like, but it's just that's all they got. I mean,
they have a few other good songs, but they're not nearly as good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if my dad listens to this and he hears me call Europe a one-hit wonder, he'll probably like disown me. But that's,
Rock the Night, bro. That song. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I wanted to ask you. Wait. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Hey, I'm done.
I want to ask both of you guys because I know you're familiar with Scorpion. I don't know about you. Would that qualify in your book?
They're another one of those bands. Like, that's one of the broader points I was going to make.
Okay.
And I'm glad you brought this up because there's a lot of bands that kind of dabble in the hair, as we've talked about. Judas Priest is the analogy I'm going to make for the Scorpions topic, because Judas Priest kind of made a hair album, not like full blown, but like they definitely went a little glammy with Turbo. And the Scorpions are another one of those bands where start at the same time as Judas Priest, just straight ahead heavy metal. 80s come around, kind of go more commercial, poppy, whatever you want to call it.
Well, because I have to say this: if they qualify, I mean they're ahead of Def Leppard. They'd be my number 3.
Yeah.
I love Scorps,
and they're sweet.
Yeah,
their 70s stuff is metal as fuck, absolutely.
Fun stuff.
And I'll say the 80s stuff is hair for sure.
Okay. So, all right. So let's hear Brennan's list then now, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I did mine a little different than you guys because I knew like Motley Crue is probably my number 1 as well.
Let's go!
But
consensus? Consensus?
Unanimous.
Hey, Axl Rose, if you're listening, you stink.
All right. Before I give my list, I will say Guns N' Roses is another one where it's like, are the hair...
Yeah.
Not really. Right?
Like
they kind of hit the late...
There's
Appetite for Destruction is hair.
Here.
And after that, it's kind of like...
Let me paint you a really quick picture. So Motley Crue started the hair boom, obviously. Quiet Riot, Metal Health. First metal album to hit number 1 on the charts, which is huge.
Is that true?
Yes.
Wow.
I
didn't know that.
It's one of those albums. It came out in '83, so it's one of those albums where
great
it's
album
like
cover too.
Oh, great album cover.
Iconic.
Yes, I agree. it is widely considered the first metal album to hit number 1. Came out in 83, same time as Motley Crue.
Yep.
About. Guns N' Roses drops Appetite for Destruction in 87. They have the more stripped down look. They're not like as glammy as all the rest.
But still, you got Slash with a fucking top hat on, and it's like, yeah.
So like,
I know what you're saying. It's stripped down, but it's still there.
Right. I'd say like 83 to 87 is like the heyday of hair metal. After Guns N' Roses comes along, it's like it's kind of transforming. Then grunge obviously kind of kills it in the 90s.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll just say that Guns N' Roses, they're. Why don't you like Guns N' Roses though?
Well, that's my one hot minute.
All right, we'll wait.
I'll save it.
Please save it. I can't wait for that.
If you're a Guns N' Roses fan or a hater, stay tuned.
I love Guns N' Roses as well.
I don't.
Okay.
So we'll get into that later.
All right, fair. So yeah, I did my top 5 a little different. I did top 5 underrated / heaviest.
Oh, I'm here for it then. Yeah.
And just bands that don't get as much love, and they're kind of therefore my favorite hair bands for that reason. So at number 5, kind of an honorable mention, Pantera, because they were, if you don't know this, they were a hair band before they
I didn't know
went super. All right, we're not going to get
Number 4,
into it.
Lamb of God. I'm just kidding.
Come on, bro.
Number 4, I've got Cinderella.
Heard of them. I don't really know if I've ever heard any
Interesting
of their music.
name for a band too.
Yeah, their biggest hits probably don't know what you got till it's gone. Nobody's Fool.
Okay.
Those are.
I'm sure I've heard it, but I've
You
never.
probably definitely heard.
I've heard of Cinderella.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've heard the music.
Yeah, they're cool because they're like the most bluesy in a way.
Okay.
And the singer's voice, Tom Kiefer. I actually saw Cinderella open for Scorpions one time.
Nice.
Back in the day, and I gotta say it's one of the better concerts I've ever seen because Tom Kiefer, their singer, sings, plays lead guitar, plays piano, plays saxophone, all on one.
That's talent right
It
there.
was sweet, and his voice doesn't sound like the typical hair metal.
Okay.
It's high pitched, but it's super bluesy. So
that's intriguing, dude. Cinderella.
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
Yep.
They're in the playlist. So I mean,
Okay.
On the list.
Yeah. Number 3 though, Dokken. You like Dokken?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard Dream Warriors?
Yes.
Obviously, that's one of their
First
bigger
one
hits, but
Yeah.
George knows I'm a big horror movie guy.
Nightmare on
And
Elm Street, bro.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yes.
That was the theme song. The
Yes.
movie was called Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
Yes, I never thought I would be having this conversation with anyone in my
life. That was
life.
almost my trivia question, so I'm glad I didn't ask it because you would have knocked it out of the
Hell
park.
yeah.
But it's just, Dokken wrote the theme song for the movie.
Wow.
Right.
In 1980, what was it, 5?
Something like
7?
that. I don't even know.
That is wild. That a rock band did the theme song for the 3rd installment in a horror movie franchise.
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
Can you imagine?
Rock and horror go hand in hand.
I think
a
so
lot.
too, and metal.
Yeah.
It
absolutely,
works.
yeah.
It works for sure.
But yeah, Dream Warriors, as I've told George on the pilot, I got into metal kind of at my grandma's house because she let me watch whatever I want, watching all the old MTV Headbangers Ball videos. Dream Warriors was one of those where I was super young and I was like, what is this?
It's terrifying too.
Yeah, it was, but it was sick. And I was like, this is it. And yeah, Dokken's one of the heavier ones. So they're number 3. Number 2, though, Skid Row. Another super heavy one. They toured with Pantera. Kind of came up together. Like, if not for the hair boom, they could have been just probably considered like a straight ahead metal band. So
My dad's a Skid Row guy.
Good.
I've never really taken him up on that, but I know that he likes
should.
Skid Row because
Yeah.
I just remember back in the day, same thing, MP3 on our computer, Skid Row. You open it up and there's 10 songs there. So
yeah, exactly. And they're absolute fire. So yeah. Number 1 though, Wasp.
Wow.
Yeah.
Enlighten me. Continue.
Okay, we talked about, we had a whole shock rock episode for Halloween. Wasp definitely fits in the category of shock rock. They were one of those first wave hair metal bands, kind of came up same time as Motley Crue. They have the metal imagery. They're very metal. Again, if hair wasn't like the in thing at the time, they could have just been another shock rock metal band. Super, I wouldn't say dark, but darker in comparison to the rest of the hair bands. Heavier. Had the stage show, their thing at stage shows, they would throw dead animals and like raw meat into the crowd.
Marilyn Manson took that another step too. So
exactly.
Yeah, Manson. You can see the roots of that.
Yeah.
I think George. I think you have played Wasp in your car.
It's on the playlist.
You're noticing
a
trend here. A lot of the stuff that I've heard that it's kind of more in your guys' realm. I hear it because I take road trips with George.
Right.
Like that is a lot of my gateway into this. You know, so I think I've heard of Wasp because of you. I think.
Imagine throwing raw meat onto your fans. Like, hey guys, here's like some raw meat.
Here's some hamburger.
Raw hamburger, like here you go, guys. Like
that's wild.
Or like imagine just it's crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's sweet. So they're metal as fuck. So I had to put them at number 1.
All right, shout out Wasp.
Yeah, that's my top 5.
Pick of the week, mine is "Reluctant Hero" by Killer Be Killed, which is a supergroup formed by the Dillinger Escape Plan's vocalist Greg
Pucciato,
an Italian man,
something like that.
Ex-Sepultura's frontman, Max Cavalera.
Yep, and current Soulfly.
Brendan's boy,
My boy.
Current Soulfly, Brendan's boy. Mastodon's bassist and co-vocalist, Troy Sanders.
Yep.
Not my favorite of the 2 vocalists, but...
The 3 vocalists.
The 3 vocalists.
Yeah, he's my least favorite as well, but still sweet.
Yeah, still sweet. He's in Mastodon.
Yep.
And the Converge drummer from Converge, Ben Collar.
That is a hell of a supergroup right there.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the album is like all action.
All action?
All action is how I would describe it. It's just straight action. It's really good.
I'm looking forward to that. Kind of in the same heaviness realm, my pick of the week is the new Hatebreed album called The Weight of the False Self. It's your typical half-hour hardcore punk-inspired metal. Good old Hatebreed. So,
there you go.
Yep.
You get what you pay for.
Yes, sir. Always.
I'm going to listen to both of them because I feel like it would be criminal if I were to come onto this podcast and not even listen to your guys' picks of the week. But I know you both heard mine. I would be remiss if it wasn't Motley Crue. So we're going to continue the trend. Girls, Girls, Girls. The album. Not the song. The album. Nice. Because here's the deal. It's the full package. It's hard songs. There's ballads. There's covers. It has it all.
It's their bluesiest one, too.
Yeah, it's definitely their bluesiest album. Came out in 1987. Yep. So it's kind of the end of the hair era.
Right.
But it's also, I mean, people think of Motley Crue and they think, like, the big 3 albums they think are Shout at the Devil, Theater of Pain, and Dr. Feelgood. And I think Girls, Girls, Girls kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit.
It's definitely better than Theater of Pain.
Oh, I think so too, hands down. But like a lot of people just go crazy for like Home Sweet Home and all that kind of shit. But this one gets lost in the shuffle. And I mean, I talked about like listening to Hair for the party aspect of it. This is the album that when they were touring for this album, Nikki Sixx overdosed and died. Right. So like this is just, you listen to these songs and it's just, I mean, like, I think Wild Side is the best opening track in their whole discography.
It's pretty sweet.
I like Girls, 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 a hit. It's the most played. But it's also the most played strip club song of all time. And fantastic. it's I mean, like, how do you not love that kind of stuff? They cover Jailhouse Rock.
Oh, that's my favorite cover.
There's some other fun songs like Bad Boy Boogie and 5 Years Dead, and there's ballads, Rodeo. Yep. Like it's the full package. So check it out. I guess that's all I would say.
Would you say that's your favorite Motley album?
No, it's Shout at the Devil.
Same.
It has to be Shout. There's not a song on Shout at the Devil that I don't skip.
Everyone is a banger.
There's not a song on Shout at the Devil that I skip.
Yep, it's their most metal as well.
Even
cover's dope.
The one that's just written by Mick Mars and Nikki Sixx and it has no words. Like that's a great song. I have the vinyl too, and I just play it. And I take my exams, and it motivates me because when I'm done with my exam, I can get drunk. Like it works.
I'll say that's my favorite Motley album too because it's just
Shout at the Devil.
It's heavy and it's great and it's good stuff.
That took them to the mountaintop for sure.
Yeah. Let me just throw this at you real quick, and I want to see what you have to say about this because I think about this all the time. It's for some bands it's easy, for some bands it's hard. It's super easy for me to rank Motley's albums. Okay,
for me too, honestly.
I've got Shout at the Devil number 1, obviously.
Yep.
Number 2, Too Fast for Love.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I respect that. For me, that's probably number 4. But I mean, I love Motley Crue so much that it's like I love all those out. I couldn't live without any of them. So All right, so keep going. Too Fast for Love.
Dr. Feelgood number 3.
Okay.
Girls, Girls, Girls. Theater of Pain.
Okay, so for me, it goes Shout at the Devil, hands down, number 1. Yep. But then number 2 for me is Girls, Girls, Girls.
Okay.
3 is Dr. Feelgood.
Right.
4 is Too Fast for Love. 5, Theater of Pain. So we agree except for we switched.
We switched those, yeah.
We switched those 2.
Why is Too Fast for Love lower for you?
It's not even that it's really lower. It's just that I love
like the other ones
three.
better.
And honestly, you know what? I might like Too Fast for Love more than Dr. Feelgood. It's funny with Dr. Feelgood because Motley Crue, they want to act like that's their best album because they were sober for it.
Right.
Like they went to Vancouver, Canada, and just locked in the studio and recorded it and got it done. So they're proud of it because it's more musically oriented for them. But like, it's just, I just don't. So every interview they do, they like sell that, they push that. They're like, Dr. Feelgood, that was kind of our best album, and it's not.
They're in the best mindset, they think it is.
Like maybe it is the best musically, but again, that's not why I listen to metal. I listen to metal because I'm getting fucked up and it's fun. I'm listening to Wild Side and Looks That Kill and Shout at the Devil. I'm not listening to like, She Goes Down or some crazy song off. And it's they're all great albums. But.
Right.
As we find out time and time again, for better or for worse, the best music is made under the influence. We'll leave it at that. We're not condoning anything. We're not saying go out and do anything.
Just no free ads either.
Just the way it is.
It's just an observation.
Yeah.
Trivia, baby.
Yes, sir.
I'll start.
Go for it.
Trent, how many different members were in Motley Crue from 1981 to 1992?
Now listen, 92. Okay, so here's the thing. You're going to stump me on this because I know that the album with John Corabi came out in 1994, but I'm not quite sure. Vince Neil left before that, so I have to think about this. 5?
No.
6?
4.
No.
It's 4.
No.
7?
Yes.
No
okay,
way.
So wait. So
Greg Leon playing guitar.
Okay.
Who the fuck is
Odin
that?
on
Heard
vocals.
that guy.
Tommy Lee playing drums.
Yes.
Then they made their change a year later, cutting Greg Leon
That was
on
that
the guitar,
that poser guy.
and they replaced him with Robin, a guy named Robin.
Is his last name Crosby by chance?
You can look it up on Wikipedia. His name is Robin.
All right. Batman?
And then after that, they made the switch and got Mick Mars on guitar, Nicky Six on bass, Vince Neil on vocals.
So
and they kept Tommy Lee on.
Wow.
So I got fucked on the beginning. Okay,
Yeah,
I was
I did,
thinking too hard about the end
I
because
was too.
they got some weird shit in there. And honestly, my trivia question for Brendan is a little similar. So we'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, that's a good question, bro, because they did have a. Their origin story is kind of wild. Like it was Nicky and Tommy founded the band, and they found Mick Mars in a newspaper ad.
Yep.
And they found Vince Neil because he was a cover band singer.
Yeah, it's a great story.
And he went to high school with Tommy. Like there's just it's weird stuff for those stories. That's a great question.
Yep, for
You're
sure.
making me look bad. I guess that's what we're supposed to do.
We do it all the time.
The trivia is dirty on the show.
You just grill them.
Absolutely.
All right. We talked about Rick Allen. This is for Brendan, by the way.
Okay.
We talked about Rick Allen.
Yep.
He lost his arm in a car accident.
Right.
He was passing a car. He was speeding up to pass a car and lost control. He ran into a stone wall and drove into a field, lost his arm. His girlfriend got severely injured as well. What car was Rick Allen driving?
This is blowing my mind. Because my question for you is, what car was Vince Neil driving when he killed Razzle?
Oh!
When he killed who?
Razzle.
From Hanoi Rocks?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well,
that's nuts, dude.
I guess we'll do you first. What kind of car was Rick Allen driving,
You guys blow my mind. You guys are so in sync. This is like beautiful to be on the show here right now because this is blowing my mind.
I don't want to answer because my best guess might be my answer.
So he is declining to answer.
No.
Therefore,
I feel like
he's pleading the fifth. Trent, what Trent's saying is Brendan's pleading the fifth.
Oh man, let me ask you my question.
Are you serious? You're going to answer my question with a question?
No, I already asked you the question. Right? You heard what I just said.
Well, say it again.
Vince Neil killed someone? Kind of car was Vince Neil driving when he killed Razzle?
Who the fuck is Razzle?
Did you watch The Dirt?
No.
George has this is.
Oh, you
know what,
Okay,
Brendan?
all right.
Brendan,
my
blame
bad.
this on me. I need to force George to watch it. I brought it up a couple times and we're like, it's kind of late. It's already like 12. Like,
Yeah.
Plus, you keep telling me that you don't like watching movies based on musicians you like or something.
Famous people.
Okay.
Documentaries, specifically.
It's not a documentary though.
Whatever.
Oh, dude.
Who is Razzle? Just explain it to me.
Razzle is the drummer of Hanoi Rocks.
Never heard of him.
They're on the playlist. They're They're a hair band.
Yeah, no, I have heard of them.
They were.
What country are they from?
Sweden.
They're from
He
Sweden.
killed their drummer?
I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Vince,
In a vehicular manslaughter, drunk driving.
So it wasn't on purpose?
No, he was
Not
driving.
necessarily,
They
no.
were going to the liquor store to get more booze, and
Ironically,
Vince swerved into oncoming traffic. And
So the Hanoi
Rock's drummer
Yeah.
was in the
was
passenger
in the
seat.
past.
Correct.
It was just him and Vince, and Vince survived.
Correct.
Vince was spotless, I think, right? Like nothing happened to
Yeah,
Vince.
he just bumps and bruises, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The driver, in the case of an accident, the driver always protects his side first. So I guess that rang true.
Do you want to credit that quote real quick?
Dwight Schrute.
Oh my goodness.
So what's your answer to the
Dude,
trivia
what do we
question?
do about this dilemma? Because I feel.
I asked you first, bitch.
Yeah, but that
Censor
doesn't
that
mean
word.
anything.
He did ask you first.
Oh,
But I said Lamb of God, so I'm kind of going to side with Brendan here. I think you should have to answer first, but that's just me.
You serious?
I'm
Why
the
would
new
I-
guy
why would I
here.
have the- all right, same time. When's at the same time?
the model of the car.
The model?
This is gonna
The
be a
model.
shit
the
show.
brand of it.
No, not like Ford. The model, like.
Focus.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
correct.
gotcha.
Fusion.
All right, count us down, Trent.
Wait, I have to think.
All right.
I'm going to count you down from 6 for obvious reasons.
That's so much harder. I don't know what model it was. I don't even know what kind of car it was.
That's why it's trivia. And
All
I
right,
thought,
well,
to be
all
fair,
right.
I thought you had seen the dirt.
I haven't.
They don't say the name of the car. It's just
Okay, so on 3, it'll be 1, 2.
1, 2, 3. Say it.
Yeah.
Trent.
1, 2, 3.
Stingray.
Pantera.
What?
Oh, no.
A 1972 Ford Pantera
Oh.
is what Vince Neil was driving.
Looking
I thought
great
you
in
were
it,
guessing.
too.
Wait, I thought you were guessing what.
This is a...
No, I know.
was guessing and you were guessing.
I was.
He was
and
because he said-
Oh, because you thought it was. Oh yeah, right.
He thought it might
Yeah.
have been the same car.
Right. Because that's why I thought you were asking me, because as we discussed on the Pantera episode, a Pantera is a car. Which is why I thought you were asking me this question.
Right. Okay, so no, it wasn't a Pantera. It was a
A
Corvette.
Stingray.
No. That was my guess for you.
Oh.
It was a Corvette. It was a Corvette. It was a C4.
Yeah,
A
there's...
Corvette C4,
Okay.
which is a pretty sweet car if you look at it. Pretty famous car.
Yeah. I know of it. I just didn't know that's what he was
It
driving.
was a Ford Pantera.
A 1972 red-orange Ford Pantera.
And it was sweet
It-
until
Yeah.
it was crashed.
And you see, my guess for your Rick Allen question was going to be a Pantera, because I obviously had no idea. But I didn't want to say it because that was the answer
This is a
to your
sweet car.
trivia
I want
question.
to drive a Pantera.
You guys are
now.
funny because you're so in sync about this kind of shit. Like Brendan's doing reverse psychology, mental gymnastics over here, not wanting to answer the question. 'cause
Yeah, Brendan.
He thinks
Brendan's
that
like
George.
scheming over
He thinks
here.
George is digging something up from episodes ago. This is awesome.
That's because Brendan. I want to drive a Pantera now.
Yeah,
If you see me in a Pantera, mind your business.
right.
All right, trivia. Go.
Mind your business.
Brendan, you might as well round out your
Yeah, I'll-
trivia.
I'll
'cause
just
you already
ask
went
Trent.
You're half of it. You're
Yeah.
half of it. So
If I go over 2, is this a Motley Crue question?
No, but it's...
Okay, good. Then I can't look worse.
Right. It's an Ozzy question.
Oh, all right.
Let me just read this verbatim so it's clear for you. What famous band did Randy Rhoads form
Oh my God.
before joining Ozzy Osbourne?
I don't know. I know he did, and because I'm a big Randy Rhoads fan too. Like,
Yeah.
and I love Zakk Wylde too, but there's
Right.
nothing like the OG Ozzy
Yes.
albums with Randy.
Those first two are the
I
best
don't
two.
know. I don't know.
you gotta,
I went over 2 on trivia. What kind of guest is this? Fuck this guy.
Yes.
Quiet Riot.
He founded Quiet Riot?
He did.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did he leave? What's the story?
Ozzy.
Well, I can't argue with that. I mean,
So Metal Health, that's like their big album, obviously. Before that, they put out 2 like undergroundy albums that were released only in Japan for whatever reason.
where did they originate?
LA.
That's what I thought. I thought it was LA.
And then Ozzy got fired from Sabbath and
Yes.
was putting a band together. And Randy,
I love Ozzy, you guys. When Ozzy dies, that's going to be a very sad day.
it's going to be a terrible day.
very
yeah.
sad day for me.
But
He's the Prince of Darkness.
Yes,
bro,
he
he's
is.
got a tour booked in 2022.
This
So
man is gonna live forever.
He's feeling good,
He's planning for the future, man.
and I respect the hell out of that.
He can't talk. But he can sing.
Oh, he can
Somehow
definitely
he can
sing.
still sing. He
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
talk. Like,
He
I'm
can't
like,
even speak,
who,
right.
Who is this guy?
There's that scene in The Dirt where
Oh, yeah.
Motley Crue says to Ozzy, like, wow, Ozzy, you're keeping up with these young kids. And he's like,
I fucking left you,
mate. Yeah.
That's great.
And it's so true. I mean,
Oh,
no
he is
offense to
like-
Motley Crue, but
he's
he's
like
the
the
man.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the
He's the godfather.
party animal.
Yeah.
He's the party animal.
He's got a song called "Party with the Animals."
He's
for
the
crying out
man.
loud. There's a story, real quick. There's a interview with Tommy Lee, and he talks about that whole situation, that scene in that movie where
Right.
they're at the pool at
With
the
the
Four
ants,
Winds
yeah.
Hotel, and Ozzy snorts the line of ants, whatever.
Right.
And he said that Ozzy rode with Motley Crue. Motley Crue was opening for Ozzy, to
Right.
give context. Motley Crue was opening
Shout
for
at the
Ozzy,
Devil,
touring
right.
with him, 1983. Shout at the Devil.
Yeah.
And I think it was Bark at the Moon. Does
Yep.
that sound right? That's the okay. So Ozzy was touring for Bark at the Moon. Motley Crue touring for Shout at the Devil. Motley
What a
Crue
tour.
opening for Ozzy. Can you
Oh.
imagine? Like,
Yeah,
I would
that's
kill
insane.
to be in one of those
Yeah.
arenas, but whatever. So they're going from city to city. I forget what city it actually was.
Yeah, I
but
don't know.
they drive all through the night. Ozzy rides with the band that's opening for him because they know how to party.
Yeah.
And Tommy was like, yeah, we were just like ripping lines all night, doing crazy stuff. They get to the hotel at about 10 a.m. and then they just hit the bar and go straight out to the pool. It's 10 in the morning. There's families out there.
Yeah.
Like, the sun is out. And Ozzy's just pissing on the
Yeah.
concrete and licking it up. And it's like, I wish somehow the media could track down one of these mothers who was there.
Oh my God, I know.
You know what I mean? To get her side of the story.
The grandma.
That's great stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I encourage everyone to go listen to that because it's a fantastic interview. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've read the book, The Dirt,
I
correct?
have,
Yeah.
yes.
And I've
First
said
book
this.
I've read since 8th grade.
Yeah.
That's how much I love Motley Crue. Again.
Exactly. And we've talked about it many times. There's
Make me
so
read.
much more in the book than they put in the movie.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And you get more of a feel for like what actually went down when Vince Neil left the band, Slash
Right.
was fired or whatever. And then, just all the stuff.
All the shit, yeah.
Everything behind
It
the scenes. They weren't in a good place for Theater of Pain. They weren't
Right.
friends. They were all kind of
They blamed,
not hanging out with each
yeah.
other. It's weird stuff.
And if I'm ever going to recommend a book on this podcast, it's that one, 100%.
It's a great book.
So, yeah. Yeah,
You serious? That's the book?
it is.
Guys,
What's
go,
yours?
go read, like,
The
In
Satanist
Search of
Bible?
Lost Time. Yes.
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can. No, you
Okay,
definitely.
okay.
We've talked about Satanism on the
Oh,
show.
yeah,
We
yeah.
already,
yeah.
yeah, that was like on the first episode.
Okay, cool.
Trent, what trivia you got for us?
Here we go. I've been looking forward to this. Brendan, I've got one question, but now that I feel like I already answered a similar question for George, this might be a little easy. But Brendan, 2 members of Motley Crue left the band and were replaced at one point. Who were they and who replaced them? That's your bonus. If you get that, I'm impressed. But who?
2 members left.
2 members of the band, once it was fully
Right.
formed with Vince Neil, Tommy Lee, Mick Mars,
Yeah,
Nicky
yeah.
Sixx. 2 of them left, Slash, were fired, whatever,
Yep.
and were replaced. Who were they?
Vince was replaced by John Corabi, of
Yes,
course.
he was. Good job.
I don't know
The
who.
next one's tough. That's why I was.
I don't know. It was Tommy, right?
Yes,
I don't know who
it was
replaced
Tommy.
him.
Good job. It was Randy Castillo.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, from Ozzy.
Wow.
Ozzy's drummer
Oh.
came in and toured with him for a
Okay,
little bit. There was
cool.
also
Yeah.
another drummer. Her name escapes me. It was a she.
Oh, sweet.
She was great. But
Awesome.
George, my question for you is this is more of a. We talk about this so much that I think you might know the answer, and I actually kind of gave it away earlier in the podcast, but I want to see if you remember. What year did Nicky Sixx overdose on heroin?
Oh.
Do you know? I mean, like it's like
It
a
was in the 80s, right? For
yes,
sure,
yes,
right?
yes. And I told you
Yeah.
what album it was when it happened.
Yeah,
So
it's got to be
yeah.
before 86.
No,
Fuck.
that's
Well,
your only hint. Go for it. Guess. You can still guess.
Yeah, he's a lot nicer to you than I am.
Yeah. You basically got 3 years to choose from.
89.
87.
Damn it, George.
No, you know what though? You know what though, George? I don't know if you knew this, but to your credit, Kickstart My Heart came out in 1989. That song was inspired by the events.
Oh,
That's fair.
You
That's
were
fair.
close,
Okay.
but he died in 1987, and the tour was canceled. And then he came back to life 2 minutes later because they put 2 shots of pure adrenaline
Right
into his
into his
yeah,
heart.
that story's wild, by
Yeah,
the way,
it's
too,
great.
because they said the guy driving the paramedic was a Motley Crue fan.
Right.
So he's like, imagine having Trent Reznor, George,
God.
in your ambulance, and he's dead. He has no heartbeat. You're like,
You're like-
I'm just shoving 2 shots of pure adrenaline
Yeah.
in this guy's heart.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So wait, can I ask one more to Brendan, just
Yeah,
for
go
fun?
ahead.
You can cut it if you want.
go
but
ahead.
Brendan, do you know the 4 nicknames of the members of Kiss? the most famous.
Absolutely.
So who's who?
Kiss was my shit growing up.
Yeah, okay. So never mind. He's gonna nail this, but whatever. Just for entertainment's sake, go for it.
Gene was the demon.
Yes.
Paul was the Star Child.
Yes.
Ace was the spaceman.
Yes, sir. Space Ace.
Space Ace. Peter was the cat.
Okay. So one's a cat.
Congrats.
One's a spaceman. One could be a dog.
One could be a dog. We're completely different from them.
That's a reference to an old Motley Crue interview.
I hate you guys.
Do not compare Motley Crue to Kiss. Don't do it, because if you do it, you're gonna get the spiel.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Honestly, I will say it's funnier watching you guys do the impersonation than it is watching the video.
I would imagine so.
But yeah,
we're pretty funny guys.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right, one hot minute.
Yes, sir.
We are flying through these segments. Not really. We're taking a lot of time on them, which is great.
Good.
It's awesome. I'll do mine. Mine's fast. I couldn't think of anything. Like I said, I know the least about hair out of these two guys. So, in the spirit of the season, I decided to do my one hot minute on winter metal. Winter and metal. Metal and winter. The season of winter and heavy metal.
Born in Winter by Gojira.
There you go. And my minute is probably... I felt the best way to do this was about a specific album, which is by a band called Agalloch.
Okay.
They put out an album called The Mantle. It's metal, it's black metal, it's ambient, it's conceptual, and it's an album that you throw on in the dead of winter when there's a power outage at your house and you have to huddle up against your fireplace that is wood powered, and it's dark.
Okay.
And you're in the middle of the winter, and you can't go outside because of the gusting winds, and you just want to listen to a fantastic album. This is the album for you. It's called The Mantle by Agalloch, and it basically encapsulates the whole vibe of winter to me.
It's the sound of winter.
There you go. Listen to it. Check it out.
That was mystic.
I know.
Everything. That was awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna check that out. When it snows out, I'm gonna listen to that.
Yes,
for sure.
yes, that's what I want you to do. Exactly. When it snows out and you're snowed in. Like imagine a snow day, and you're snowed in, and it's like 6 p.m. and it's pitch black.
Okay.
Listen to this album.
Okay. I'm gonna do that and buy Winter Jack because I've never had Winter Jack. So I'm gonna do that. Yeah. So yeah, great.
Perfect.
You want to go?
Sure. Yeah. Mine's about hair, so I'll bring it back. Kind of like my one hot minute for the Halloween episode where I discussed how black metal was a necessary evil.
Yes.
Hair metal was a very, very necessary. I mean, evil in the history book of metal just because purists hate it for obvious reasons. It was a very necessary evil in the evolution of metal because it took it to that stratosphere that it had never been to before.
Yep.
Obviously made
it's like metal like being vain. So this is your minute, so good.
No, yeah, you're good. But I mean that's part of it, of course. It put metal in the mainstream map. And I mean the downfall of it was MTV said, "Oh yeah, this is popular as hell. Let's make a million other copycat bands and just ruin it and water it down," which is what they did. And then grunge came around, which is a lot more real.
It's like anti-hair metal. Right.
And just a closing thought, hair is probably the most fun subgenre because it's the most nostalgic. And then grunge is like kind of, when I listen to a hair song, it's like 80s. I want to be in the 80s. When I listen to a grunge song, it means something to me now, if that makes sense.
I love grunge.
Right.
Grunge
if that makes sense.
That does make sense. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you listen to an 80s song, you're like, okay, that's from the 80s, and that'd be fun to be living back there. And
right.
then a 90s song, you're like, okay, I feel that.
That's because grunge put metal in the stratosphere for the 90s.
Right.
Like grunge
it brought it back to its, what's the word? Not hair.
It's roots.
It's roots.
It's just like sound. Grunge is just like,
it's all about the music.
Noisy shit.
It's substance over style.
Here you go.
Yeah, but anyways, hair was a necessary evil. So yeah.
I agree. It's like,
and I still love it. So
it's like when metal. If metal decided like, oh, I want to be like really arrogant and vain and all that other stuff,
but nonetheless awesome.
But nonetheless awesome.
Right.
There you go.
Love it.
What you got,
Trent?
Trenty?
All right, fellas. Listen, when George told me about this segment because I was prepping, right? and I've obviously seen a couple of your guys' episodes, I was like, what am I going to do this on, right? I was like, I could just write a love letter to Motley Crue, basically, just do it for a minute. No, I wanted to do something a little more interesting. And for people who know the history of Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses, there was a feud.
Yeah.
They toured together in 1980. I want to say it was 87.
Something like that.
86, 85, whatever, somewhere in there. And Axl Rose and Vince Neil basically almost fist fought. Long story short, Vince Neil said, meet me here at this time, and Axl Rose didn't show up. So that's that. And I will give a disclaimer first. I really do like Slash. I respect him. You guys would probably be better at like ranking the all-time guitarists in rock, but he's got to be up there. I don't
he's
know
the
how.
man.
Yeah, like he's just good as fuck. So that's my disclaimer. But real quick, I want to run through why Guns N' Roses is overrated.
All right,
okay?
real quick before you do that.
Yeah, okay.
I want to say the feud was over Izzy Stradlin,
Yes,
the
yes.
rhythm guitarist for Guns N' Roses, like apparently hit on Vince Neil's girlfriend.
Vince's girlfriend at the time, and it is the most like petty, like,
which is ironic because it's Vince Neil.
right?
You know?
Like Vince Neil's over here like fucking
biggest
Tommy's
douche-
fiance
yeah,
in
yeah.
the dressing room,
Blah blah blah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you gotta just see the dirt. You're gonna have to
my
watch
God.
it, dude.
Nikki fucked Tommy's fiance or something.
I think they both did.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I have no idea.
Vince
but
fucked anything
anything that moved.
Yeah. So
Anything.
it's just ironic that Vince like went after Guns N' Roses because of this.
Pretty much.
I'm siding with Guns N' Roses because I know you're about to shit on him, which is fair.
I am. So let me just do it real quick.
Yes.
So Guns N' Roses gets talked about so much and regarded as all time great, and so let's hold them to that standard. Let's do it.
Okay.
First of all, they're a 5-piece band. Get the fuck out of here with that. If you're a real, be a 4-piece band.
I agree.
Why do you need 5 people? Why do you need 2 guitarists? Like Axl Rose, get out of my face. This group has one good album.
Yeah.
Sure, there are hits outside of Appetite for Destruction. That is their good album.
Use Your Illusion,
But-
bro.
Well, okay, listen. November Rain's a great song. Knocking on Heaven's Door is a great song. But like, I'm talking like, don't tell me those are great projects because they're not. And obviously, this is a matter of opinion.
Right.
But look, the year after Appetite for Destruction, so 87. So the year after 88, NWA dropped Straight Outta Compton, just like took all like the young people and just like basically moved into this new era of that kind of stuff. And then grunge came along, whatever. So from my point of view, if you are all time great, you don't get outshined a year later. That's just my opinion. Like you're gonna last longer than 1 year at the top. And like I just don't know. I have some like bullshit LeBron James analogy in here. I won't go into all that. But
No,
look,
please do.
No, I was just gonna say like I'm a huge LeBron James fan, as George well knows.
Yeah.
And like the same principle applies in sports. Like LeBron James has been the flavor of the year for the last 17 years. Like you stay at the top. And I know sports is different than music because you have to continue. to release.
I often make a lot of analogies myself though. So
Yeah, it puts it in context for people to kind of understand, like quantify it. Yes, Guns N' Roses has one fantastic project, but for me, that's where it stops. Like there's nothing really after Appetite for Destruction that I love. And I'll say this after this, Axl Rose is a poor man's Vince Neil, in my opinion. And again, I'm a Motley Crue apologist. Like I'm driving the bandwagon. But look, I've said my piece about them. You understand I'm a huge Crue fan.
Right.
But like I'll even tell you Vince isn't the best singer. Like he's brutal live. We've all seen the videos of him trying to get the crowd going. It just doesn't work. But Axl Rose took what Vince Neil did and made it more annoying. Like if you listen to Axl Rose sing, he's squealing and
like it.
high pitched. And
It's not for me.
George and I had a conversation one time. I know I'm probably at like 3 minutes now. George and I had a conversation one
That's fine.
time about how we don't like high pitched like rock and roll. Like in general.
I really
it
don't.
just doesn't usually resonate with me. But Vince Neil is one exception for me for obvious reasons. And
Right.
Axl Rose, in my opinion, has a very annoying voice. I hate the song "Sweet Child of Mine." That might be.
Whoa.
know you hate that.
I oh my
I know
god!
you hate
I
that.
don't
That's
like
so
it.
funny.
So anyways,
because of the vocals.
yes.
Oh, dude, it's such. Oh, okay.
Oh,
just
dude,
keep going.
it's
Keep
just,
going.
he's just squealing the whole time.
I
Anyways,
understand where Trent's coming
so,
from.
so
I
that,
do.
that's it for
That
me.
sense,
That's
like,
it for me. I mean, Axl Rose is a poor. I don't like Guns N' Roses because of Axl Rose. Pretty much, that's the main reason. He's sold out. He's now singing for AC/DC, and I rest my case there.
Hot!
That's just my opinion, though.
Getting
I
hot
am
with
aware.
the minutes.
Like I said,
That was a hot minute,
like
right
I
there.
said, they're regarded as all-time great, so we gotta hold them to that standard. Like, let's put their feet to the fire here. How great are you, Guns N' Roses? Right? Like, let's talk.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just
Rebuttal. We got it.
just a little rebuttal
Yeah,
because
go
I
for it.
could really go into it hard, but I'm not going to. 'cause-
Dive
No,
right
no,
in.
no.
First of all, Brendan, are you a Guns N' Roses fan?
I love Guns N' Roses.
Go ahead.
It's like Pantera versus the Lamb of God to me. It's not, obviously not the same level, but it's the same argument. I love them both. Just one a little. And I'm not saying I like Guns N' Roses better than Motley Crue. It's just...
Well, someone's got to be the voice of reason here because, it's just a Motley Crue cream fest over here for me. So, you go.
I'm going to have to be honest. I don't see the appeal of Guns N' Roses. I tried to get into them. It didn't really work for me. The vocals were kind of...
Well, I want to hear from a guy who does like Guns N' Roses.
For sure.
So let's...
Have you listened to the songs It's So Easy or My Michelle by Guns N' Roses?
I've heard My Michelle. I haven't heard it.
Or Coma.
Coma?
Yeah, which
They
is
wrote
on
a
one of
song
the...
called Coma?
It's on one of the Use Your Illusions. I don't remember which one.
Okay, I'll listen to it. I'll give it a chance. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be a hard ass.
I mean, I love Motley Crue to death, but
Yeah.
those 3 songs are arguably more metal than anything Motley Crue's ever done.
Well, I mean, I could totally see
Really?
that.
I said arguably.
Okay.
Like it's
I
like
haven't
I
heard,
said,
so I really don't know.
it's Pantera versus Lamb of God to me. It's there. I love them
Who's
both.
Lamb of God in this situation? Who's Pantera in this situation?
It's because I agree with him when he says Appetite is like.
That's all.
I love you. Use Your Illusions, and I love that little Lies EP. But like after that, there's nothing. Pretty much, they did a cover album, and then Chinese Democracy, which I'm not even going to get into that right now. But their catalog is
subpar,
shorter,
in my opinion. I don't know. It's just.
That NWA
one
thing
man's opinion.
was a cool analogy.
Well, and
also.
look, that's also not really their fault. It's just the way that music was working. But at the same time, like you have to deal with your environment.
Yeah.
It's not like whatever.
And all right, closing thing. You said Axel's got a bad voice or whatever.
No, I don't think he has a bad voice. I think he has an annoying voice. Like brutal to listen to. Like I hate his voice. Yeah.
So
pretty much.
That's another question I want to ask you. Do you like Saints of Los Angeles, Motley Crue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
That was the first time I ever saw him on that tour. I was 10 years old.
Okay.
It was one of the great times.
Dude, I'm jealous.
But now when I see live videos of Vince, he sounds like absolute shit, like you just said.
Horrible.
I saw Guns N' Roses 3 years ago. One of the best concerts I've ever seen.
Okay, so that's a fair point. I mean, because the live aspect is definitely it's important, right? I mean, like
I think so.
You love a band so much that you invest, or an artist or whatever, and you invest your money to go see them play live because
there's a lot of other characters.
Yeah, and they mean so much to you that you're willing to do that. So if the show sucks, then that's kind of a bummer.
And I don't think you can be a great band if you're not good live.
Right.
Motley Crue was great
Once
live.
upon a time, yes, but Vince Neil has kind of hit the cliff, man.
Yeah.
And Mick Mars with his back issues, like the show is not going to be what it was in 1983 when they're just flooring it every night, but
it takes a toll on you.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Last Motley Crue question for you. Okay. I mean, this is probably an obvious answer for you. Nikki's your favorite member?
Hands down.
Okay.
Yep. Nikki, I'll rank him for you. Nikki's my favorite. And
Mick is mine.
I mean, Mick is yours?
Yeah.
I love Mick. I think Mick is the best.
Yeah,
if that makes
most
sense.
talented
I think
musician.
Mick is the best at his respective instrument. Vince is last. That's no disrespect. I love Vince.
Tommy's sick though as a drummer.
I think Tommy's my second favorite because he's just funny, and he's still in the public eye so much too that it's just funny to listen to him talk.
All right, last Motley Crue question. Back in the day, who was the hottest Motley Crue member? Because obviously this is going to be my second hot minute. Listening to this playlist, these bands. It's very sexual music.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like all about sex.
That's all they care about.
All of it. Yeah.
It's just like, I'm a rock star. Like, it's just sex.
Motley Crue has a song called 10 Seconds to Love on Shout at the Devil. Go listen to it. You'd probably love it, George.
Yeah.
It is a whole song dedicated to the analogy or the metaphor that Vince Neil's penis is a gun.
it just sounds like, it's like, this sounds dirty.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds like it should be, like, it should have, like, an NSFW warning on it.
That's why mothers hated them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Motley Crue went on it. They named one of their tours Every Mother's Nightmare.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great stuff.
So the question is, who was the hottest Motley Crue member back in the day?
Vince.
Vince, really?
It had to be Vince. So, here's the thing. Here's why you have to see the dirt. Because, and this isn't, I'm just saying, like, there's one scene in there where they're looking for their singer. And they see Vince singing for a cover band at a party. And he's, like, working all the chicks in the front row. They're all, like, trying to touch him. And they're all so, and he's the singer too, so he also kind of has that like edge,
charisma,
the charisma, and really the unfair advantage over the other guys because it's like he's the one who gets to run around and like touch the crowd. Right. I mean, not saying the other guys can't do that, but it's just like
no, for sure.
But second, I would say Nikki.
I think Nikki was a good-looking guy back
in my opinion. Nikki was better looking than Vince.
Right.
But so Vince worked the chicks.
Yeah.
And that is why I think Mick Mars has a great quote. You might know it. Mick Mars was like, he says this in the book. He's like, I didn't even care if Vince could sing. It's like, we were just looking for a guy to work the chicks. And then we got Vince, and then Vince actually could sing a little bit. Right. So it was great. It's like, they didn't even care. They just wanted someone to be the showman.
Funny.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, we can stop there with the 1 hot minute. That was awesome.
That was like 10 hot minutes.
Yeah.
Very great.
Good.
It was fun though.
Absolutely.
Song rec. This will precipitate the episode for next week, which is with Evan Cerasi, who is the audio production director at Impact. I've been working with him for a little over a year now. Awesome technician in his field.
Big metalhead, of course.
Big metalhead, of course. And we'll be talking about hardcore and metalcore and stuff like that. But first, we'll do Trent's song rec. What you got?
So it had to be Motley Crue. If it wasn't going to be Motley Crue, it would be Dream Warriors by Doc. I mentioned it earlier. I love that song. Great song. And it's nostalgic as well.
Yep.
But Brendan, you're probably going to enjoy this because I got a song off Too Fast for Love. Yes. Take Me to the Top by Motley Crue. Kind of slips through the cracks if you ever get into their discography just because like Live Wire gets the most play off that album, which is a good song. But I mean, I just love the fact the original cut of this album, Motley Crue recorded in 3 days. Yep. And Take Me to the Top is just so...
punk rock
it's so
energy.
Simple too. Like it's just it's great. It's great stuff.
Super metal riff though. Like
yes. And Mick Mars' guitar solo is fantastic too. It's one of his best. It's my favorite solo of his.
Fair.
Which is a little bit of a hot take, but
that's fair.
Yeah, that's my favorite track on the album, and so I'm gonna recommend that one. Take Me to the Top by Motley Crue.
Sweet.
Mine, like I said, it will precipitate next week's episode. It's Shadow Moses by Bring Me the Horizon.
Yes, sir.
Not a huge metalcore guy, not a huge hardcore guy, but this one takes the cake.
This is sempiternal. Good shit.
What you got?
Yeah, in honor of hardcore metalcore next episode with Evan, my song rec is a song called Doom by Scour, which is Phil Anselmo of Pantera. That's one of his side projects. This Doom song is off their new EP that came out. It's pretty hardcore, so
check it out.
Yeah.
End.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trent, for being on the show. We really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. That was really fun.
Super fun.
That was the highlight of my week, and it's Monday, so I'm excited for the rest of my week, but nothing will top this. So thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yep,
thank you.
So tune in next week for the episode with Evan Cerasi, and also tune in to...
The Hours of Power, which is on Impact 89 FM every Thursday from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., Also, check for links in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube or the website. Trent is going to curate some kind of playlist. Haven't really worked it out yet, but we'll get it.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
You got it. And like we said, this episode is a little different. We've had a whirlwind of recording techniques and editing and stuff for the Metal Pod. Like we said, we can be on video to show you our lovely faces this week. We hope to be back.
The stay-at-home order's not helping us out too much, but we're doing what we can.
We will get back to our regularly scheduled content as soon as possible. Until then, listen to metal and peace out.
Stay tuned for Evan next week.
There you go.
Metal!
That sounded hair.
Yeah, gotta get the hair in there.
Hair singer.
You've been listening to The Metal Pod, a production of Impact 89 FM. Our thanks to Impact's General Manager Jeremy Whiting, Station Manager Amber Kienutsky, and Programming Director McKenna Lowndes. Tune in next time for more updates on all things metal. The Metal Pod.